Good evening and welcome to the November 12th, 2024 meeting of the Abington Board of School Directors. I note the attendance of all board members with the exception of Mr. Muhammad, who is excused. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. The Abington Board of School Directors has convened this evening's meeting at the Administration Building, and the public is welcome. This meeting is being broadcast live on the Abington School District YouTube channel. This meeting is being recorded and will be accessible on the district's website and cable channel no later than Friday, November 15th, 2024, to allow those members of the public who cannot participate to view the proceeding at a later time. Comments from citizens will be conducted in person and by phone. Information regarding participating remotely in public comment will be displayed on the screen at the time of public comment. The board thanks the public in advance for its cooperation. This is a place where we hold respect and dignity in high regard. Both your voices and your presence are welcome in this space. An executive session was held immediately preceding the public meeting regarding collective bargaining. At this time, do we have any additional announcements for this evening?
Just have an opening.
Yes, please.
I just wanted to provide an update, a quick update for the public on the status of our future facilities planning process. As you may know, last month we hosted a town hall and an open house for the community, which was designed to share information and gather input on proposed options for Abington Middle School that were last presented to the board at the September 24th meeting. The four options, as a reminder, included: one, renovating and or adding into the existing middle school to accommodate 2,200 students; demolishing and building a new 2,200 student middle school on the campus design for the educational teaming model; splitting the existing middle school population into two 1,100 student middle schools; or reconfiguring the grade structure into a 5-6 building and a 7-8 building, each one size for about 1,500 students. The latter two options would involve potentially needing investment at the elementary school level through conversion of Copper Beach Elementary School. We are currently in the community input gathering phase for each of these options, and earlier today released a new survey through the Thought Exchange platform, gauging opinions on the proposed options, projected costs, and estimated tax impact on a median homestead value in our district. This survey will be open through Thursday, November 21st, and is accessible on our oneasd.onefuture.org website. The feedback will be utilized to refine the proposed options for the future of Abington Middle School. Looking ahead, some of the next steps include: in December, we will launch a scientific telephone survey and an accompanying online community survey that will include assessment information so that residents can more closely pinpoint how the middle school options will impact them directly. In early 2025, recommendations will be presented to the Board of School Directors. Once the board selects a plan, they will decide whether or not to go to a referendum to fund the project. Although at this point, we know that it's the only way to fund the middle school project. No decision on a referendum has been made to date. If the plan goes to referendum, it can only move forward if approved by the voters of Abington Township and the Borough of Rockledge. We can't stress enough how important it is to hear from as many voices as possible as we further evaluate the proposed options. So please take a few moments to participate in our surveys and in the surveying process. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional items to be brought up about from my fellow board members before we open up with your comments? Okay. Mr. Allen?
Nothing, thank you.
Ms. Frazier?
Welcome. It's nice to see young people.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Good evening, everyone.
Dr. Mowry?
Welcome to the meeting, and I just want to reiterate Dr. Fetcher's encouragement to participate in the information gathering we're in the process of right now, so please take a few minutes to do that.
Thank you. Ms. Spalding?
I noticed with the past election, some ballots were rejected because the people couldn't read the signatures. As you know, we really don't teach cursive writing anymore, and a lot of young people don't know how to sign their name. I don't know if we're going to move into a society where everybody puts an X, but I just found that interesting that, maybe that's something we need to consider.
Thank you. Ms. Fazy?
Welcome, everyone.
Ms. Hartman?
Good evening.
Dr. Fetcher, any opening remarks?
I just want to welcome everyone tonight to the meeting, and I am excited to move forward with our programming this evening as well.
Yes, let's do so.
Okay. First, I would like to call our student council representative from Abington Senior High School, Bryson Edmonds.
Good evening, Ms. Brown, Dr. Fetcher, and the members of the Board of School Directors. My name is Bryson Edmonds, and I am the Student Council President of Abington Senior High School. The class of 2025 held the second annual trivia night last Friday. Many students and parents came out and participated in a competitive, fun night of trivia. The Pennsylvania Department of Nutritional Sciences has awarded Abington Senior High School the School Breakfast Expansion Grant application for an approved budget amount of $5,000. The funding for this project is provided by a USDA Child Nutrition School Breakfast Program Expansion Grant. The Abington Senior High School Marching Ghosts took first place, scoring a 91.7 at William Tennant High School's Celebration of the Bands, earning captain awards in Best Visual, Music, and Overall Effect. On Sunday, November 3rd, the Abington Marching Ghosts competed in the U.S. Bands Group 5A National Championships at J. Burney Crum Stadium in Allentown. There were 11 performing units in Group 5A, and the Abington Marching Ghosts took 7th place with a score of 89.6. They ranked 2nd in the color guard and visual effects caption and 3rd in percussion. Daniel Oliveira was recognized for excellence in athletics recognition for demonstrating exceptional dedication and skills on our boys soccer team, achieving remarkable milestones such as Suburban 1 League Liberty Division Player of the Year, Suburban 1 All-League First Team, All-State, and a strong candidate for Regional All-American. I believe since he has been selected as a Regional All-American. Daniel was also an integral part of our Liberty Division Championship team this season that went 8-1-1 in league play. Congratulations to the following boys and girls. Being recognized for SOL All-League Team Cross Country Boys First Team are Chase O'Brien. For SOL All-League Cross Country Second Team, Jackson Fiola, James Stewart, and Nolan Flood. For girls cross country first team, Michaela Fitzmaurice, Elizabeth Ambrose, with an honorable mention for Anna Tetzlaff and Fiona Doherty. As we enter into the season of giving, more and more opportunities are being presented for Abington to showcase our talents and pride. We will continue to not only show off our abilities to others, but to take time to be thankful for what we've accomplished so far. During this Thanksgiving season, we should be focused on giving back, not just to our community, but to those around us who made it possible for us to come this far. Thank you and enjoy the holiday season. Respectfully submitted, Bryson Edmonds.
Thank you, Bryson. Appreciate the update. And from Abington Middle School, Ava Seaton.
Good evening, Mrs. Brown, Dr. Fetcher, and members of the school board directory. I am Ava Seaton, and I am the Executive Board of Student Council for Abington Middle School. Student Council is holding their annual Thanksgiving food drive. The collection lasts until November 20th. All collected donations will benefit families with our community. Math Olympiad is in full swing right now, and the first 2 meetings have been going great. The mathletes are solving concept-solving practice problems without calculators and have been sharing their strategies on how to solve them. Chess Club has had 2 meetings so far, and each time there have been about 50 members. There have been some good gameplay amongst novice, intermediate, and advanced players, as well as some advanced level students helping others learn. It has been a very active club with lots of interest. American Sign Language Club has met twice, and students are becoming faster and stronger finger spellers each time. As our most recent meeting, students have practiced how to ask and answer questions and learned some spooky Halloween vocabulary. Reading Olympics has had its first meeting with 60 students this month. The librarians pulled all 25 books from the list for the competition, and there had not been one book left on the shelves. We have a great group of readers. Vibe and Imagine. On October 2nd, 2024, 3 leaders from AMS attended the DVC EE Middle School Leadership Summit at the Downingtown Area School District's Administration Building. When asked about applying what they learned from the conference to their lives, one leader responded, "This leadership conference reminded me that I do not have to have my whole life planned out right now. I have time to make the decisions that I wish. It reminded me that I can do whatever I want in life. And make income off of it if I put my best foot forward. It reminded me that I can also, this conference reminded me that this is everyone's first time living too, so I have to forgive them. I'm also my toughest critic, so I have to forgive myself too before I can truly grow." Later in October, we had our first 30-on-30 meeting at Abington Middle School, where senior leaders from the high school assisted our junior leaders from AMS with homework, assessment prep, and/or organization for 30 minutes. Later, everyone participated in a community building activity until the end of the meeting. The Gender and Sexuality Alliance has welcomed new members and spent time in October learning about historical figures in the LGBT community. Going Green. The club have been working on the gardens at the traffic islands outside the middle school building. We did a bounty scavenger hunt / leaf collection that paired with an identification activity. We had begun a nature journalism to promote observation and reflection skills and plan to do a campus litter cleanup next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes our student council reps.
Thank you so much to Bryson and Ava. Thank you for your voices and for everything that you do. I'm reminded to, I'm just inspired by you. So thank you so much for coming and speaking up. I know it's not always an easy thing to do. So please keep shining bright, okay? Have a good evening for those of us who are leaving. Dr. Fetcher, please proceed with this evening's honors.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. As yesterday was Veterans Day, tonight I have the honor of recognizing our Abington School District employees who are also veterans who have courageously served our country. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to honor our school district employees who are veterans at a brunch, along with our students in the military club, members of the choral group, who you will see tonight as well, and a selection of Abington Senior High School students. I am grateful that our students can hear the history and stories of our veterans, which in many cases provide the foundation of where they are today. I'm going to ask our employees who are here if you could stand when I announce your name. Mr. Robert Catania, who's with our HVAC, who is a veteran of the Air Force. Mr. Jacob Catania, an aide at Abington Middle School, who still serves in the Air National Guard. Mr. Paul Hislop, a custodian at Rydell Elementary School who served in the Navy. Miss Andrea Richards, elementary curriculum specialist at Roslyn, who served in the Army and National Guard. Mr. David Walker, who you may remember from last year at our board meeting, a bus driver in the transportation department. Are there other employees who came? I know this is who, any other employees who came who were veterans? Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was inclusive. I want to thank you not only for serving the students of Abington School District, but also our country as well.
Can we just pause to give them a round of applause?
I would also like to ask if there are members of our community here tonight who have also served, if you could please stand for recognition. Okay. I would now like to introduce our Abington Senior High School choral students under the direction of Miss Lori Wolf, who will sing America the Beautiful while our slideshow of district veterans plays.
What a treat.
I'd like to thank you for that beautiful rendition of America the Beautiful. And we appreciate your time in being here this evening to honor our district vets. Your selfless act of service matters, and the sacrifice you and your families have made is never lost on me. And I want to take a moment again to applaud the appreciation and recognition of Veterans Day to our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful voices. Thank you for helping us to honor those who put country first above themselves. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was gorgeous.
I may continue with the
Yes, please. I just wanted to give a moment.
moment. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much. Please proceed with our honors.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. At this time, I'd like to ask Dr. Alice Swift to recognize Coach Bill Neely for being inducted in the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame Montco chapter.
Good evening to everyone, to the Board of Directors, Dr. Fetcher, and our cabinet and guests. Thank you so much. I have Coach Neely, Bill Neely, with me to my left. Currently, right. Currently a paraprofessional at Abington Senior High School. Coach Neely is a graduate of Abington Senior High and a graduate of Norfolk State University, class of 1975. Coach Neely played basketball, football, and ran track and field. Coach Neely was a 3-time state champion where he ran the 440, the 4x220, and 4x440 relays. He won the Penn Relay Championship of America for the 4x400 team. Coach Neely was a Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association champion and an NCAA champion. Coach Neely has been awarded the Pennsylvania Track and Field Championship for Coach of the Year. And more recently, we're so proud of you for being honored as an inductee into the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame for the Montco chapter. And in closing, I'd like to just add that we applaud you, sir, for your ability to inspire, motivate, and encourage the students that I see you engage with on a daily basis. So thank you for your commitment to this district, to the lives of our students, and to your accomplishment up here on the board. Thank you. You should say anything you want to say, sir.
Back in the 70s, we used to collect newspaper articles of the things that we did. And as I was preparing for the Hall of Fame presentation, I ran across one of the original newspaper articles of Jack Armstrong and his accomplishments in track and field. So what I decided to do was to frame it, and I'm going to donate it to the school, and it can be put in Jack Armstrong's Hall of Fame.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, please.
Dr. Fetcher, did you want one? Just check.
Ms. Brown.
Let's move you in the middle, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coach Neely, just one moment, please. I think it it speaks volumes when you're acknowledged for your accomplishments, not just for what you have done and your own achievements, but how you have poured into other students to bring out the best in them. And there have been so many times where I've shaken your hand up here because students have excelled under your leadership and under your guidance. But on top of that, in your moment to shine, you recognize someone else. And that speaks volumes to your character. So thank you for just being an outstanding person and an outstanding athlete and an outstanding mentor to so many students. We really appreciate you. Dr. Fetcher, does that conclude our honors for this evening?
Yes, Mrs. Brown.
Excellent. We will move forward with agenda item number 4, which is comments from citizens. Comments from citizens are being conducted both in person and by phone. The phone number to participate in public comment is 267-715-3717 and is featured on the screen at this time. You can call in from your landline or mobile phone. If you're within the room and you would like to make a comment, there are mics to the left and to the right of you. Please be sure to state your name and address.
Hey, good morning, good morning. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Rooney, I live in Ardsley. What an election, grand slam in PA. Thank you for everybody that participated, for the school district, for the use. What we learned was pretty resounding for Pennsylvania and for the US. We need to focus back on get rid of identity politics, the BS, and focus on education, not indoctrination. Veterans thing, boy, those kids were beautiful. It was really great. I saw the Facebook of the little thing yesterday. The pictures are really nice. And thank you to Paul still here and sir, you're still here for your service. It's really awesome. But one thing I'm wondering is no veterans on the board of directors, no veterans up here. So I guess y'all don't realize it, but veterans have an awful lot to offer. They get leadership from day one. And I would encourage maybe the equity officer to look into why is there such a dearth of veterans in our leadership positions in Abington School District. Certainly, they're worth as much as any BS in education from some podunk university. The things that I've seen in the military, so I would encourage that. I don't know if they're not being promoted, they're not being hired, or what, but maybe the school directors could ask about that. So we'll get on to what Dr. Fetcher was talking about earlier. I would put quotes around scientific surveys. From my experience listening to all these things, as far as the $500 million tax program you guys are working on, ICS has been hired to make a propaganda campaign to try and encourage taxpayers in Abington and Rockledge to voluntarily increase their own taxes. We were basically cherry-picked 4 options, and there are many other options in there, and I'll talk about it until you all tell me to be quiet. But I would encourage people to understand that they are trying to increase our taxes, that's it, and they're trying to spend it on a construction project. I would love, first and foremost, to have asked, number one, what can we afford? The second one is, if we had $100 million to spend on education in Abington School District, what would be the 3 best ways to spend it? And then start getting those ideas from these incredible minds that we have up on the board and here around this table. And then from there, work with what we can afford and what we would like to do, rather than just go, we want to spend $500 million on construction projects. We've already spent $100 million, over 100, almost $121 million on a construction project. What has that done for improved education? Each one of you should be able to answer that question. There should be some empirical data that we can look at. I know we have a lot of fights. I know we have a lot of kids who have been sitting in bathrooms instead of going into classrooms. But what have we done to improve our education? I've also put in, I gave you each a email with a little economic breakdown, okay, an analysis of what $100 million is going to cost us as far as...
Thank you.
That's it.
We have heard your
You want another
comments.
30 seconds or not?
We have heard your comments. Your time is up. You may have a seat.
You have the discretion to
Thank
extend
you very much. I have answered
not
your
that
question. You may have a seat. Thank you.
Wow, that speaks volumes.
Thank you. If there are other speakers within the room, there are mics to the left and to the right of you. Please be sure to state your name and address. Seeing that there are none, can you please confirm that there are no callers on the line?
We do not have any callers on the line.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Dr. Fetcher?
No comments.
Thank you. That moves us to agenda item number 6. Ms. Fazy, can you please read the recommendation to approve the October meeting minutes?
That the Board of School Directors approves the minutes of the board meeting on October 8th, 2024, and the board meeting on October 22nd, 2024.
Second.
We have a second. This is a voice vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it and so moved. Ms. Fazy, can you please read the recommendation for approval of the personnel addenda?
That the Board of School Directors approves the changes in personnel as reflected in personnel addendum numbers 7.1 and 7.1A and confidential addendum numbers 7.1B.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. The personnel addenda begins with the request for a leave of absence for one professional employee, appointment of 3 professional staff members, and compensation for meetings and events. I bring your attention to the retirement of Ms. Dawn Evans, paraprofessional at Abington Middle School and Senior High School, who has served the district for 28 years. And also, I bring your attention to Ms. Christine Tree, a paraprofessional at Copper Beach Elementary School, who has served the district for 18 years.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Yes, please.
I was just going to say congratulations to our retirees.
Thank you. We never want to forget to say that the time that you spent dedicating to our students and just the school community at large, and I know how hard paraprofessionals work to help enrich that environment. So thank you, and we hope that your retirement years are great years for you. Ms. Flanagan?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Dr. Mallory?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy? Aye. Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye. Ayes have it and motion passes. Ms. Fazy, can you please read the recommendation for permits for the use of buildings and grounds?
That the Board of School Directors approves the applications for permits for use of buildings and grounds as reflected in addendum number 8.1.
We have a second.
Second.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. The permit addendum continues to reflect typical requests for buildings and grounds for meetings and other school activities for this time of year.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board? Again, a lot of exciting things that are going on. A thank you to the staff, the community members who helped to create these spaces for students to have a sense of belonging and enjoy activities. Ms. Flanagan?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Dr. Mallory?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy? Aye. Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye. Ayes have it and motion passes. Ms. Fazy, can you please read the recommendation for permission to advertise for bids?
That the Board of School Directors approves the permission to advertise for bids as reflected in addendum number 9.1.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. This evening, we have one request for permission to advertise, and that's for one 30-passenger student transportation bus. And this would be paid for out of our access funding, and it is for a replacement of a current bus.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board?
So can you just clarify that's not, when you say access funding, that's not out of our
General
budget,
funding.
right? It's a separate funding source?
Yes,
Okay.
it is for special education students.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments from the board? Okay. Ms. Flanagan?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Dr. Mallory?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy? Aye. Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye. Ayes have it and motion passes. Ms. Fazy, can you please read the recommendation for awards of contracts?
That the Board of School Directors approves the awards of contracts as reflected in addendum number 10.1.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. This is for, tonight, we have your consideration for one award of contract, and that is for our interactive panels. And these are replacement panels for current panels that are out of warranty or beyond repair.
Questions or comments from the board?
Just and
Clarify which bid.
yes.
Yeah.
So if you're accepting the higher bid.
Yes, Dr. Melcourt, could you please?
The difference in cost is for an additional 2 years of an extended warranty. So it ends up being a little less than $100 per year per board for that additional 2-year warranty, which we believe is warranted, pardon the pun, given the fact that these are replacements of boards that were just purchased a few years ago and unfortunately are out of warranty. So we believe the additional 2 years for a 7-year warranty will be more advantageous for the school district.
All right. So it's a 7-year warranty versus a 5-year warranty.
Yes.
Okay.
Any additional questions or comments from the board?
I just have one quick question. I don't know if you can answer this, Dr. Melchior, but in the district's experience, how long before these boards start to show problems?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Green for part of this and Mr. Cargus. But these most recent boards, we have 2 different types of boards currently in place in the district. At the senior high school, we have Promethean boards that were part of the additions and renovations project. K-8, we're using active panels, which are a different type of board. The active panels are still under warranty and have been working well. They're a newer technology than the Promethean boards that were spec'd into the senior high school project. Those Promethean boards are the ones that are beginning to fail. The District K-12, prior to that replacement cycle, had all Promethean boards that lasted about 10 years. But what we ran into as a difficulty with the old Promethean boards, we couldn't find replacement components for them. We would expect that the boards should last 5 to 7 years on average, which is why in this case with the extended warranty, we think that we'll be in better position than where we're at right now. I'll ask our technology folks if there's additional information.
I think you summed it up pretty good. We actually expect it to last, these new boards to last a little bit longer than the 7-year warranty.
Okay.
But that gives that buffer, and that's the difference with the higher amount.
Okay, and I assume that the extended warranty, that they won't have any trouble finding parts as in other words, the experience we had with sort of the first round of Promethean boards and having trouble finding parts will be taken care of by the extended warranty?
I believe that the extended warranty, yes,
Okay.
if there are not parts available, if they become obsolete, they have to replace the item.
Replace the
Okay,
board,
all
so
right.
it would be, right, it would be addressed.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any additional questions or comments from the board?
Yes, for the boards that are no longer in use, is there any way to upcycle them? And if not, how will they be disposed? The boards that are no longer in use, how do you guys dispose of them, and/or is there a way to upcycle them? Like give them to an organization or an educational facility?
Depending on what part is bad, if it's a main board, it kind of renders it useless at that point. So sometimes we can pull a port off it that we can use, or the screen itself. But other than that, we will recycle that board if it's rendered useless.
Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, Mrs. Flanagan.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye. Ayes have it and motion passes. Dr. Fetcher, any additional reports or agenda items for this evening?
Yes, Ms. Brown, I provide the conference attendance and professional leaves and capital improvement projects reports for your information.
Any questions or comments from the board? Okay. Any additional business to be brought about from my fellow board members? We'll go to comments from citizens. Agenda item number 13. Comments from citizens are being conducted both in person and by phone. The phone number to participate in public comment is 267-715-3717 and is featured on the screen at this time. If you are within the room, you can use the mics to the left and to the right of you. Please be sure to state your name and address.
I'd hoped it would take a while for you guys to get through a bunch of interesting questions, but I'll continue on. So again, I mentioned this before. We got 8 sheep here tonight. We need some tigers. We need some lions, maybe a honey badger, even a fox or something like that. Somebody's got to have some teeth in them here to ask tough questions. You sharpen things with tough questions. So if you're watching, nobody at the board cares. I sent this email to them all and asked for any kind of feedback, and I didn't get any, so I assumed that the email must not work, because we have a business guy and we've got an equity math teacher on here, so I know we got experts here. So if they borrow $100 million, and that's 1/5 of what their goal is, what that ends up being is, let me find my numbers right here, about $400 per house per year. That's all 22,000 tax accounts, and I realize there's businesses in there. So for every $100 million, the school district is going to take a $4,300, I gotta find it real fast because you're gonna cut me off. About $4,500 mortgage on your house for 25 years. The payoff is going to be $400 a month. And I understand there are wealthy houses and there are lower houses. I live in Ardsley, which is about pretty average for this township, I believe. So if they get $250, that's $1,000 a year for 25 years. That's what they're telling you to pay in increased taxes. If they go to $500 million, that's $2,000 a year. So you can look at your own budget. But then also you want to consider what's it going to cost for small businesses. Like a place like Trader Joe's, I think they pay about $125,000 a year in school taxes. But they aren't going to pay the increased taxes. That's going to be passed on to you. I don't know how Joe's Market or O'Neill's or Ackers is going to survive, but they're going to pass that on to you also, okay? Holy tamale. So you need to consider that. Remember, this is a propaganda campaign to get you to increase taxes so you can build something. This has nothing to do with education. So if you look at all of these numbers, just think $1,000 a year for 25 years up to $2,000 a year on the average house. The other thing you want to consider is, what does the school district do for older people, for people who are struggling, for people who are on fixed incomes, people who are retired? Who is actually stepping up at these meetings now? We got plenty of time to say, how are we going to protect these people? But it's never asked. It's worth considering.
Thank you, Dr. Mr. Green, any callers on the line?
Yes, the next citizen for public comment is phone number ending in 8115. Please state your full name and address.
Hello, if you can hear my voice, I'll be able to hear yours. Please make sure you turn down any devices in the background so we can hear you clearly.
Hi, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This is Brenda Corey calling from Burke Street in Rockledge.
Thank you.
I wanted to make a brief statement about a recent PTO event that I chaired, and I have chaired for the past 6 years at McKinley Elementary. It was brought to my attention by our PTO president that a person or a group of people had complained about our annual Scarecrow Night in 2023. It was something along the lines of scarecrows looking like Jesus on the cross. Because of this complaint last year, I was forced to spend 2 afternoons reconfiguring the stakes in what you could only call large sticks. These scarecrows were then removed without parents being notified before Election Day, as it seemed we didn't want to offend more people. I bring this up because our district allowed someone or a group of people to impose their religious beliefs upon a free family fun night for public elementary school students. I also wonder if these people happen to see the scarecrows at Alverthorpe Park, a tax-funded park in Abington, which used the same stakes that we have used in the past. I would also like to make it clear that I comment on this not as a public school parent, but as a practicing Catholic, a former Catholic school teacher, a current religious education teacher, and an employee of my church. I would never plan an event, let alone plan one for 6 years, that I thought made a mockery of Jesus. Thank you.
Thank you for your voice. Mr. Green, can you confirm that there are no additional callers on the line?
There are no callers on the line.
Are there any additional speakers within the room? There are mics to the left and to the right of you. Please be sure to state your name and address. Dr. Fetcher?
I have no comments.
At this time, we'll have closing comments from my fellow board members. Mr. Allen?
Nothing, thank you.
Ms. Frazier?
Nothing. Have a good evening.
Ms. Eisenhart?
I just have one. Mr. Walker, you're still in the back there, and you've stayed for the whole meeting. Just wanted to give my personal congratulations to you and thank you because you also served my children on the bus for a number of years. So it's great to see you here and to be recognized as deserved.
Dr. Mowry?
That was great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep saying this over and over again. The decision about whether to go to referendum is a long one. We depend upon community input. So whether you are in the room or listening, or you want to reach out to friends and family, please participate in this process. It is a community decision.
Thank you. Ms. Spalding?
Yeah, Mr. Walker, I didn't catch what branch of service? I don't think they announced it. Were you in? United States Army. All right. Thank you for your service. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Fazy?
Yes, I want to say thank you again to Mr. Walker and also Mr. Paul, who personally serves in my own kids' elementary school. Thank you so much. And also just thank you to everyone tonight and take good care.
Ms. Hartman? Oh, I'm so sorry. Ms. Hartman?
I just want to say thank you to all our veterans that we recognized and have a good night, everyone.
Dr. Fetcher?
I would thank everyone for coming out. Thank you for your service to our veterans. And as district employees, I really think that it is important for our students to see and listen to the stories and hear from you. And yesterday was a great opportunity for some of our students to hear your stories, your history, and so they can grow as well as citizens. So thank you.
Definitely. Thank you to our veterans. There's a lot to learn from your story and from your sacrifice. There's a lot for our youth to continue to learn about how to contribute positively to society, how to make sure that we don't succumb to the negativity and the hatred that we see in this world. And your sacrifice is a great example of what it means to fight for those freedoms and for our young people to understand the burden that you carried and to live up to it by honoring just society with their behavior and their good character. So let's continue to do that. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned. Have a great evening.